in 10 and a half months or so, we have an election in the United States. Do you have a prediction who might win that election? And if it were to be, let's say, someone other than Biden, do you think that the American administration's policies and actions might take a different direction?
Right now, Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden handily. Two of the swing states that figured prominently in Biden's electoral victory in the last election, namely Michigan and Georgia, are now decisively trending in favor of Donald Trump. Now, this is very significant. We also have to bear in mind that at least one state right now, Colorado, with a democratically appointed Supreme Court, state Supreme Court, has taken the extraordinary step of barring Trump from running in the next election. The constitutionality of this action it's not even worth discussing. They should not have done this. They can't, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court now. But other states, democratically controlled states, are now apparently on the same trajectory. If this is not stopped and reversed, no Democrat, it doesn't matter who it is, if they're elected to the presidency, will ever be regarded as legitimate. And basically, you're setting up a situation. I mean, I hate to be alarmist about this, but when people, including the undecided, and the polling is showing that they don't want any part of this. It's up to them. It's up to the people to decide who's running for the presidency. You're setting the stage for violence. I don't want to say a civil war, but I don't want to rule it out. So
the country might become ungovernable.
It would become ungovernable, with large sections of the country basically saying, we don't recognize this administration as legitimate. And you know what? They would be right. So if the dream team for the Republicans right now would be Donald Trump and Nikki Haley as the vice president. As far as the Democrats, the real issue with the Democrats right now is Joe Biden's negatives are so high, and people just don't like him, and they don't like his policies, and they're fed up with him.
And he's clearly not really in charge anyhow.
No, he isn't. I mean, he's cognitively impaired. I mean, that's to be polite. Okay. So who would take over for him? And there's one person that I keep hearing about that's really frightening. And the money, as they say, the smart money is on
Newsom.
Heavy breath, Michelle Obama. The smart money is on her. Although I like to refer to her, as her husband did from time to time, as Michael Obama. Think about that. So I don't know whether that was a Freudian slip or what. But in that event where you have a question about the legitimacy.
Obama's always had a problem with names. You know, at one point he was Barry, then he became Barack. I mean, it's hard,
and
it's hard
Hussein,
to know. It's hard
Hussein, I don't know where that came from, right? Okay. So you have a problem with the possible legitimacy of the election itself. You have a Republican team made up of Trump and Nikki Haley, assuming Trump can run in all the states, that would most likely win. You have a Democratic Party that is completely at odds with itself. It's radical left wing. It's centrists who are running for cover. And there's even a right wing of the Democratic Party, which in Michigan and Georgia is voting Republican now, back to the Reagan Democrats. Well, they're voting again for the Republicans. But there's another element here, and that's represented by Robert Kennedy Jr., a very interesting person. he sometimes gets a little weird as far as his conspiracy theories are concerned, but he has been a vocal advocate, pro-Israel advocate over the past 2 months, defending us in the court of public opinion in the United States. What he's basically lining up is a third party. And in this kind of situation where you have such disarray about the credibility of the election itself, you have a resurgent Democratic or Republican ticket that may or may not have the right to run in every state. You have a Democratic Party which looks like it might, in a moment of insanity, nominate Michelle Obama, and who knows who, as far as a running mate is concerned, maybe even her husband. That's something we have to keep in mind. She may nominate, the Democratic Party may nominate Barack Hussein Obama as her vice president, and he could run as her vice president. And then you have a third party option with Robert Kennedy. And there are a lot of Democratic centrists that would vote for him. And it would throw the entire election into anarchy. What we're looking towards right now is a period of anarchy with the upcoming election in the United States. And this is why I have been begging everybody, both verbally and in writing, to concentrate on the notion of military self-sufficiency. Because if this war right now proved anything, it's that if we are not capable of supplying whatever war material we need for whatever period of time is determined a war will last, 45 days, 60 days, whatever it is, we cannot look to the United States in the future as a source of military support. The supplies to Ukraine right now Ukraine is like a big suction machine, taking in all the type of spare military equipment that's available. When the United States withdrew, as it had the legal right to do, it's stored military equipment here, mostly artillery shells, 155 millimeter artillery shells, to send to Ukraine. I immediately contacted people and said, look, we're not going to get resupplied. The American government can't, their production capacity is flat. They cannot even supply their own forces, let alone Ukraine's. That's why they had to come to us. So we better ramp up production of things like artillery shells and aerial bombs. And I won't dignify the response I got from people. It was pretty ad hominem, like mind your own bloody business. You don't know what you're talking about. The Americans have promised to resupply us and to restock these things. Well, they actually did. One ship came in with, and we're running low again. Of course we are. So if you look at the American election through an Israeli lens, where the worst thing possible that could happen is a fourth Obama administration, literally, with his crazy racist wife as president and him as vice president, you can't make this up. Or anarchy, where nobody wins the election. It's up in the air for various legal reasons. The one thing we can count on is the fact that we will not have a coherent American foreign policy. And in a situation like that, we are literally on our own. And so when you look, in conclusion, when you look forward to this period of potential anarchy with the United States, the one thing that we have to recognize is our pressing need for military self-sufficiency. Now, the Ministry of Defense has already kind of come to their senses, and they've decided that for aerial bombs, the bombs that the planes drop, we should be self-sufficient. Well, good morning. good morning. So they are now getting ready to build up our production capacity for bombs. The thing about a bomb, and this is just what happened to us right now, is it's not the bomb itself, it's the guidance package. We make some of the best guidance packages in the world. So why did we run out? It's because the only way the Americans would buy these guidance packages, such as for what they call the spice bombs and other guidance packages, is if they were produced in the United States. I'm not blaming them for being smart. I'm blaming us for being just downright bloody stupid. If you're going to offshore your production capability because the buyer insists on it, at least guarantee that you have a production capability or capacity in your own country to satisfy your own needs. We didn't do that. We did not do that. Why? Oh, because the Americans, what do you think? They'll be here to help us. They'll give us whatever we need. It's a mindset, again, of addiction and dependence on an unreliable ally, so-called ally. We can only trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's it. I would say also my wife, but that's another story. And my Rav.
And on this happy note, I'm sorry to inform you we're out of time. I hope that our discussion has brought some clarity and some good ideas for future policies and future actions on the Jewish people's part to guarantee our victory against our enemies. And I repeat the words of the prophet Azariah, the son of Oded, in Chronicles, Divrei Yamim, chapter 15. Excuse me. He said, Adonai imachem b'yotechem imo. Hashem is with you and will be with you as long as you are with him.
Correct.
Thank you, Jonathan, my friend. All the best. Hayu beruchim. May you all be blessed. May Hashem be with you. Shalom u'nisahon. Peace and victory.
Amen.
Shalom.
Shalom.